Up, we're getting ready for Del Mar as they take on Houston North. On the side of Del Mar, Owen, Karlenzig, Riley Owen, Garrett, Bucklin, and Domecus taking on Dillon, Priima, Theo, Brunner, Frank Field, and Dillon Maarek.
Being officialist now. The new guy comes out.
And we're here for our second quarterfinals men's match of the day. Del Mar taking on Houston North. We're coming to you live from Humble Civic Center Arena in Texas for City versus City, the premier 4v4 beach tournament, changing the game all at once. I'm Nick England, joined by Michael Klinsman, and we've got a special guest here, fresh off of a huge win. Troy Field, the Laguna boys taking down Hermosa in the Battle of the Beaches. Troy, thanks for joining us.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, what a crazy game. We had Wyatt Harrison just go off in that game. I'm not sure if you guys were watching. But yeah, Wyatt serving won us that first set, and then we were just able to grind it out and take it in two. So
yeah,
praise God.
That was a big one of saying Bradford, Harrison, back and forth with a nice exclamation point that was you getting 3 huge blocks on Bradford.
Yeah.
So
yeah, when you're up there, I told him, I said, just be gentle when you do OT me. It will happen, but just, I'm getting up there. The vertical's getting lower. But, yeah, he's a great player, and thankfully we were able to get a few good blocks. Wyatt's been able to coach me behind me and give me some good tips. So it's great to have players with knowledge of the game. Speaking of knowledge of the game, I got my partner here, Theo Brunner, on the beach. He's been coaching me this year. So.
The absolute legend. There's the huge one. Lev Priima shutting down Owen Karlenzig right there. This was going to be an interesting one. Houston, this is their first match of the day. They're very fresh. We already saw Del Mar have to play one this morning, so they've already put some feet in the sand. And, this many matches in this short of a time, you're going to start to feel it. So We'll see how they handle that here.
Is Lev a libero? I mean, why does he have a different color jersey on, I didn't think he's allowed to block out there.
Out of rotation, question mark.
Love to see it. Karlenzig roll shots that one in, picked up by Maarek. Cox back set to Priima. And that one's going through the hands of Owen. This is the first time we've had it today that a team is using a 5-man roster. So currently Frank Field not on the court. There is no formal substitution. It is, you made the libero joke, it is much like that. You can kind of come and go freely. So some teams are using that for defensive or blocking matchups. Have you guys had to discuss that, when you play those teams? Is that addressed?
No, not too much. I mean, we kind of happened in our first game. We saw it go down. But kind of just got to be ready for who's going to pass, who's going to do it. When we played in Qatar, we played at the World Beach Games. It was 4v4. They had a really interesting substitution strategy where you could only make one sub, and as soon as that sub got subbed out, they can't come back in the game. So I really like this format where you can kind of bring in maybe a better passer, but still have an attacker at the net. But yeah, when we played in that, I was only able to come off the bench once. And then once I got subbed out, it was just like, well, I'm just watching, spectating the whole game. So I really like this format.
Big swing there from Brunner through the double block of Riley Owen and Owen Karlenzig. Those two have done very well going pin to pin. So seeing Theo take them on, no surprise to see the success there.
Lev. What you got for us?
Priima hits a good top spin. Backside to Domecus. Domecus gets the touch. Domecus has definitely been taking less swings on this team. Collegiately played outside hitter, went to Ohio, had some shoulder issues, played a libero instead. So they've kind of brought him in as that kind of dynamic third piece, can swing as needed, but really the defensive specialist here for this team. Chaos in, great save by Priima. Maarek.
What a set. I mean, it's one of those incredible, it was super close to net, beautiful, but how is Dillon going to do a 360 somehow get this on? I mean, it's so difficult, but yeah, what a freaking set by Lev.
And with the beach rules being what they are, it's like you can't really grab it and throw it, though I am talking to the man who has gotten away with a few.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that, Michael?
Honestly, with the 50-50 plane, it's so hard, to be able to put a restriction on that, movement, to be able to catch, draw, and then go. I feel like to restrict that would also be to take off, other elements of the game that could be hindering the creativity.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
It's not like I do it because we don't have a replay rule, but if they did institute that, then you could get a lot more of the you could see when they go in a joust you could see that a lot of people actually open hand tip that before they get to you. It's not actually as simultaneous. So if you can grab your hands on it, which actually I learned from Theo, who's playing right now, even though I went more viral for it, but he was the one who first kind of grabbed the ball. But you just had a disadvantage as a blocker because we don't have that replay system where you see a lot of people open hand tip.
Right.
So once they institute that, then that plays at the net will get a lot more cleaner. But as of right now, I've only done it on a joust. I know Hendrik Moll did it in the German tour, and he did it off of a free ball, and that was a lot more blatant.
Yes.
But mine's always been kind of on a joust. The worst one, was the first one against Taylor Crabb. Again, I'm so sorry, Taylor. But they've gotten progressively better. You're just making sure it doesn't go anywhere, and you're just kind of, as a blocker, you're defending yourself,
Here from a serve from Karlenzig, 6-4 Del Mar in the lead. Back set to Priima, punches that one through. Riley Owen, right hand, not quite getting over to seal the way he might hope.
They might win best dressed as far as simplistic colors. I'm a sucker for the black, and I don't know what you call that.
Gold.
But this is a clean jersey setup.
What does that look good, play good, pay good, or
Yeah,
play good, get paid good?
I think so. Wow.
Well, maybe where you need to learn something from the only guy out here not wearing a shirt, Lev Priima putting up the wall on the left side over there.
Seriously, I mean, I'm not sure if you could see that on the stream, but just watching his hands above the net, a lot of balls don't really cross the plane that high above the tape, and I think as we play, we forget that, and so Lev doing a really good job just sealing low there, putting the paws up and getting a block.
Domecus takes another big swing. That one goes wide, but there is going to be a net on Priima there.
Says never twice. Let's see what Mr. Bucklin.
He and Karlenzig have been partnered a lot this offseason. Sorry to cut you off, Michael.
You're good. A lot of teams going after those seams and going big cross perp floats.
Not going to go down on the libero. All-American. I'll call him All-American. But Lev getting it done. Our libero.
Oh, yeah. Right now, the double block, we're seeing Karlenzig and Owen are getting there, but they're not getting the result for the energy. We were talking about how much energy it is to go pin to pin every time as a blocker. If you're getting beat 3 times in a row, you got to get the hands over, or maybe you go to a one-on-one and play a little more defense, play the long game.
Especially big court. As a blocker, you're kind of out there recognizing that it's in the advantage of the attacker, right? If they have a huge court, they only have one blocker. So you just kind of take your chances. You got to get your head down, know that they're going to make some plays. But you don't want to give somebody a chance just to kind of let a broken play go down like that. And kind of Owen on that last one, getting a little Riley Owen getting tooled. Or I think that was the right play. Hopefully I'm remembering. But the middle, whoever tried to close, just got tooled a little bit.
Yeah.
Give your defense behind you a chance. What a great pass by Dillon Cox. Theodore Brunner.
Cox almost gave me that gimme pass. Really quick, really low.
Yeah, the selfish one. We've all been there. We've all been there. Yeah,
Put me on a quick.
Yeah.
They're not ready for it. that was one of the things we talked about, the adjustments actually, that Hermosa started with like a neutral double block against you guys, and they had to kind of option out of it. But
Yeah.
they started that real greedy, going double blocks up front with Bradford and Weber.
Yeah, I mean, we have Nick Amato. He's an absolute workhorse. That guy's the reason where we're at. And he's playing insane. So is Domecus right here.
Yeah.
I mean, you said that he's limiting swings, but they are setting him almost every ball, and he's siding out.
He was not swinging much throughout the tournament. Apparently, they were just saving the shoulder. Joke's on me, I guess, here.
I love seeing the confidence in his approach. Like, you can see his feet so, like, bouncy on those plyometric steps. It's awesome.
Good
And
control
dig by
dig.
Domecus.
Yeah, doing it all here. Owen buries that one through Theo.
Not easy to get one through Theo's block. Domecus leading the charge on the MVP voting so far.
Truly.
Doing it all.
Yeah. I think it's Domecus versus Lev Priima here, depending on what team you're rooting for.
What a good seam attack. Cox buys some time, though. Owen attacks line.
Here
Good
we go.
slowdown by Priima.
In transition. Great touch on the block.
Back set, Karlenzig. That's going to get called a lift.
Wow. What a great play.
Yeah.
Honestly, such a great play. They're getting great touches at the net. Dillon coming in, approaching hard, though, for that middle set. I'm not sure what you do there in that situation if you want to get him involved when you have two players like Theo on the left and Lev on the right. But what are your thoughts? You think they should get Dillon here involved a little bit more?
I think trying it can't hurt. Maybe sprinkle in one, maybe on the, like, if they get a good first pass coming in. Dillon has a great, like, thumb down. If he can really chop over there into that sharp cross, I think that could be successful, but we'll see.
We'll see.
I think SEMO has been using their middle back the best.
Yes.
Sav being so good defensively, but every now and then kind of sprinkling her in out of the middle. On the guys and girls side, she is definitely who we've seen most effectively used. That quick note on the court, 12-9 does bring us to our 21-point technical timeout. So little breather. Troy, I want to hear now that, I mean, you're a man that we jokingly talked about how you just came from the out of system Arizona experience with all the out of system guys. TJ was there and then turned it around right away. You've played this game in so many different capacities. The grass, the sand, a sprinkling of indoor. What's your
some snow. We got some dusting of
that's
snow,
right.
if you will. Yeah.
What's your takeaway on this format? How it's progressing, the strategizing, high level?
Yeah, I mean, to obviously bring in high caliber players and see what they can do on a bigger court, 4-on-4. I didn't get to play indoor. I never got to play on this size of a court. I'm purely beach, and it comes out when I play in all those other textures, if you will, or platforms, like grass and snow and indoor. So I think having some of these guys that have all this experience, and then also getting some of those middle ground guys. That beach can be doing all the skills, so this could be a nice, easier transition for some of those players that are tall, can block really well, the liberos that can dig, but maybe they can't attack. It just gives a position for a lot of different players of all different body types, heights, and also skill sets. It doesn't have to be that you're an AVP player out here, or you're a national team player, or an All-American. You can get some people that only play fours and they have a different skill set.
Yeah,
so,
the role players.
Yeah, I really like this. I really hope it continues and we can get more people to come, and hopefully you guys are enjoying online. So whatever you guys can do. I always say liking, commenting, following. There's so many ways you can support beach volleyball without any money. And as we get back into the game, but yeah, there's many ways you can support beach volleyball without doing any money, just time and energy. Oh my gosh, wow.
What a swing.
Riley Owen.
Back into the game, wasting no time. This is one of their the Del Mar adaptations we've seen. They've put Riley on the right and the right and the middle. I believe you were doing the same a little bit yesterday, kind of switching it up.
Yeah.
Find what works. Where's the comfortability?
Yeah. We moved that just to kind of help a little bit with passing, and Wyatt has that indoor experience, so he can deal. Riley Owen again with a huge block, 14-9. But yeah, Wyatt's been able to deal a little bit with the out-of-system sets and getting his feet to the ball, and he just has that indoor experience, which I don't really have. So we decided to move me more in the middle and just use me for the block. So again, using different skill sets, and everybody has a position out here.
I will say, like, your versatility definitely shining in that last game, being able to, like, create that space and get a good first touch and getting those seal blocks. It's fun to watch from back here for sure.
Well, I'm not known for my passing, so it's a little different.
We were talking about how they were targeting you, how you were helping Amato out a bit. It was a very interesting cat and mouse game.
Theodore Brunner.
Speaking of cat and mouse,
he's one of the best blockers on tour, if not the best. Just his brain, his skill set, but his ability to reach so far out his body and to do it early on. We know Anders Mole does that, right? But Theo's been doing it for years.
He has such good hand-eye coordination, too, like those micro adjustments.
Yeah.
Love to watch him succeed. Good swing.
Karlenzig buries that one off of Cox. A great set from Bucklin. That's the other thing we've been talking about. I think the adjustments on hand setting from the FIVB couldn't have come more timely. Because sand setting all the way to a pin cross court or out of system high balls, that's a tough.
No, I know every volleyball fan has a different opinion. And I think as a spectator and different things, like the game's hard enough, right? We don't really need to make it more difficult. And force, too. I told the ref every time we go in, I'm like, hey, you're going to call it loose. Like, we are prepped for that. You are prepped for that. Doubles is different, but like we're out here, we kind of associate this more with indoor than we would with beach. Why would we even consider? I know we're playing on sand, but I think the rules should be more lenient towards indoor. Some refs have been a little bit more aggressive with it, so it becomes a challenge because each ref is different. You just got to remember that. Nice dig by Domecus.
Domecus just lifts it.
And a stumpy. Not sure who got that one, but
I think it was right hand on Priima.
Yeah, right hand on Priima.
Sounds like a good bet in Vegas.
Yeah, I'll take 100 on right hand Priima. And we'll switch sides, 16-12. Frank Field, my brother, no, not really, but we make the joke every time we see each other. It's the only person that I've met that has the same last name, believe it or not. Everybody else has an S on it, like Mrs. Fields cookies, but to just have the singular Field. So every time he bikes by on the Strand, I'm always like, hey, brother.
Confusing all of the uninitiated.
Yeah, Cox stopped going in for that middle ball. He's like, you're not going to set it. I'm not running in. Let's set our horse. 13-16.
Love to see the aggressive approach out of Lev. That high snap is so effective.
No, he is incredible. He's got a crazy arm.
Yes.
He can hit that ball.
Here's the fun one. I don't know if you can hear right now how loud those floor mics are. We heard on a couple plays last match, there was some thoughts that people were sharing, and so it was fun to get the audio. We knew exactly what was
okay.
There was a lot of emotions.
Yeah.
But that's what it's all about. That serve goes long there. It's a tough part of the game to be missing serves here when you're down by 4. Houston's got to start kind of clawing their way back into this one.
Yeah, this back end line where the camera's at for everybody at home, it is a little bit of feels a little bit of an incline, just ever so slightly, and just a different setup above you. Holy Lev showing off that arm. Just a nonchalant approach to an absolute hammer. But yeah, just a little challenge. And the light coming through on the backside, you can barely see it on the camera here, but there's a little outdoor. So it's messing a little bit with passing, a little bit with serving. So the quicker you can get that down.
Troy, if you're on Team Houston, you're down a couple points. What adjustments are you going to make to be able to hopefully rally and take this set?
What a dig here.
Wow, I saw it.
I have thoughts. Let's see if Team Houston can pull off this point.
Karlenzig gets the better of Priima and Brunner there.
Yeah, I really think focusing on where you're going to score these points. Like we're 18-14 right now. Where are we going to get these points when we're serving? Is it from our block? Is it from an aggressive serve? Do we need to cause out of system? And kind of once you identify that, then it helps you get that decision. I told our team when we have a focus, when we have one player we're serving, when we're in the right spots, we're a really, really good team. But when we're kind of searching for that, we can kind of let points bleed out, and it's just a side-out game. So I'd really like to see Houston here get in the right spots here, be able to figure out, identify where they're going. They have Theo back here to serve, so he'll generate a bad pass here with this float serve. And let's see if we can get our two defenders, Dillon, Maarek, the Dillons here, in the right spot for a dig.
The Dillon duo. Well, there it is. You've called it so far. A little out of system. What a cover.
Not going to call a lift. Theo with the tight pass. Deliver. Theodore Brunner.
That's always one of those interesting ones, the give and take, right? We saw the side of Houston get called for the lift on their cover a couple points ago, and now you see Del Mar not get called, and there's a discussion right now at the net about from Maarek. He's saying you're going to call one but not the other.
Yeah.
Personally, I think the ref got both of those two calls correct, but you got to play the game within the game.
I was at the indoor thing, like you were saying, without a system 2 days ago, and just watching them, there's a lot more that gets let go. Theo with the ace, here we go. I told you, Theo with the Mikasa is very nasty.
Yes.
It's so nonchalant, but the way he can kind of hit that ball, as somebody who's served me all season so far, it's pretty difficult. But yeah, we saw that they just let a lot more go, and so when I had a ref, I said, okay, we're coming from indoor. I just saw a lot more leniency, if you will, with some of those one-hand covers, that play right there. And that play, I think, in indoor, they would have let go.
Yeah, for sure.
And so it's just kind of one of those things, if we're going to go more to indoor setting, why aren't we going to all indoor rules?
Yep.
We're playing on big court. So I think as this tournament develops and as we see more on 4-on-4, if we could get to one standard for all this type of calls and reffing, and just so the players can understand what's going on, are we playing indoor or are we playing beach, and just get to one standard, then it'll help a lot more the players. Less arguing, all that different stuff, and the refs will probably feel a lot better.
One of the things I've really been enjoying about this format is indoor is totally hindered by how many serves get missed.
Yeah.
And beach, at times, it's such a puzzle game of the shots, and it's you get excited when you see a big swing, but they can be few and far between. And I feel like we've approached this kind of perfect middle point. Guys are serving aggressively, but there's a lot of serves in, so we're seeing a lot of points.
Yeah.
There's a good mix of rallies. Guys are rewarded that have the beach shot in their repertoire, but at the same time, the amount of just absolute huge swings. Your guys' match was some of the most ridiculous haymakers we've seen.
Yeah. I think the only shots were done by myself, and I think they got dug twice. So, we're going to set our workhorse, and we're going to let him go to town and just swing. But I love what you're saying. It is one of those beautiful things where now we're seeing some aggression, seeing the swings, and even the fans get a watch too, and nobody sees a hard hit, and they're like, well, I could have done that. They see a cut shot, and they see a high line, and they're like, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I do that, and so it's just one of those great things. And just as we were talking, we have a 17-18 little comeback here.
Hey.
Theo Brunner, I think, again, identifying, okay, we saw the serve, get a nice float serve. We need this one in. Didn't get as much movement on it. They're more in system.
Gabe Domecus is just, I don't know that he's even aiming at court right now.
No,
he sees four hands, and they're just four targets up there.
Yeah.
Slowly slide the MVP trophy closer.
Yeah, absolutely. That slider's in his favor right now. Lev kind of making an interesting dive when you have Theo, a crazy talented middle. I don't know if I would have made that dive, but I'm also not the best blocker in the world. It's tough when you're out there. Volleyball is one of the easiest sports to watch. Bucklin.
Say it with your chest.
Open the levy. Well done.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I've just remembered, and you see it, you're like, how do you shoot a high line? He's standing right there. How do we just watch and we spectate, and it's so easy, especially from the side view. Once you get kind of behind, that's why I love this view right here. You can see how fast everything. You can see the float serves moving. As right there, Riley Owen shanks one. Lev Priima, the slider moves back. Give me that, Domecus.
19-19. Love to see the fight from Houston here. Nothing, never done. We've seen a few teams. I think you brought up a great point is, what's your recipe? Give me, are you going to get one ace, 2 out of systems? Think about how you're going to visualize with those few points to get you back in the game. And you called it. Brunner, get a couple out of system serves. Yeah. And just like that, we're tied up.
Not going to work. He's been super steady all game. And normally that one is right down the line for him, but it just looked maybe a little sand snake. The sand is a little deep at certain times. So unfortunately for Owen, we have Riley Owen
and Owen Karlenzig next to each other.
That just goes out. So we have set point here. 2019, Lev.
Man.
Taking it back. Look at that comeback. It was 16-12, and now we have in favor of Houston.
That's tough, because now you're going to go sit and think about that one. You just blew
to the diary.
That's a 6-point reversal of points there. That's tough.
yeah, one of those things you don't want to think about. You just kind of like, hey, it happened. Now we're going 3 sets. It's been my mentality.
Yes.
That's happened to me a few times where you're just like, well, we're going 3.
Goldfish.
This next one, we have to win it. But just prepping, you're prepping for the 3rd set. Not in like an ego thing, a prideful thing of like, I'm going to win this, but just mentally preparing like, okay, we're no longer playing 2. We have to play 3. What did we do to get that 16-12 lead? What was our game plan there? And just kind of hammer that. This team might take a little bit off the gas, so you're just trying to make sure that they don't have full throttle, keeping that momentum. But again, it looked like passing towards the end. That Mikasa ball is like really hard to, when you get it right down the center of the ball, it can move a ton, especially in this indoor kind of arena. So when you do have somebody back there float serving, a lot of people will kind of play defense on it.
Yep.
That's what we call it. Not like in the physical sense, like as a defender, but the best thing you can do is attack that ball.
You've got to attack this ball for sure.
Just attack the ball up in the air. Make sure you're not just missing it left or right. Up in the air, you have a back left and a back right to help you set that ball. So we'll see if Team Del Mar can make some adjustments on their passing, and you have your MVP of the match almost. Lev's taking it back, but you have the MVP here, Domecus. So let's just set him, run him in, and don't worry about that set.
I almost want to see them speed up their offense a little bit. I know it's tricky on the sand, but we're seeing Lev and Brunner close double blocks almost every time. And my big takeaway is every time I see that, I say that really speaks to the serve in the pass more than anything else. Because if you're having trouble handling the serving pressure, you've got to air the ball out a little more. You've got to slow everything down. But if Del Mar can lock that in a little bit, get a little bit greedier even, because if there's a slower trailing block, I think both Owen and Riley can handle that. Sorry, I said that backwards. Owen Karlenzig and Riley Owen. So Karlenzig and Riley can, I think they can both handle that quicker tempo pretty well. And maybe that'll kind of start to chip away, give them some holes to poke at. But right now they're hitting high balls into a well-formed double, and that's a big ask.
Yes. And it does look like the only hitting errors we've had, the set has died a little bit inside. So if we're able to get that pushed out a little bit farther, they might be a little more successful. We'll see.
Hopefully you guys are enjoying all the volleyball out there.
Yeah, thank
we
y'all
are
for being here. Appreciate y'all's presence.
So here we go, set number 2.
Bucklin's going to start us off.
Cool
here.
jerseys versus wild jerseys.
What do you guys think? Quick predictions. How does this one go? Does Houston lock this up in 2?
I'm going to go 21-16. Houston takes it.
Wow, there it is.
I'm going to say we go to 18-18, and then Theo cracks off 2 aces.
You're getting real specific. I like that.
You got to take Del Mar now.
Yeah, I'm for sure going Del Mar. Del Mar's
Okay.
sending us the distance. We're going 3. We're going 21-18 set 2, and then I'm not making a call on how set 3
We'll wait.
goes.
We'll wait.
We'll wait on that one.
Make your predictions. I'm not sure if you guys have a chat in this live stream, but
If
make
not,
your predictions. Yeah, that's a great call by the referee. Owen Karlenzig just reaching over. Dillon understanding that and recognizing that. Just staying true.
staying clean and out of the net there, impressive by Maarek. That is so easy to fall just backwards. If he is close enough to get blocked out of his hands, that tells you just how close to the net he is.
Such good body control in the air to stay out of that net, too.
We're real gymnasts out here, I think.
I agree.
Good pass by Riley Owen. That was moving a lot.
There it is, a little
bit faster tempo. Lev can't get there to close that block. Good call.
Hey, sometimes we get it right. Sometimes we get it way wrong. But, you know, we count our victories.
Yeah. 2-1 here.
Domecus to serve. Float targeting Priima. Maarek's going to try to turn and joust, gets the recycle off Karlenzig, and Priima takes a big swing.
Just floating out of the way. Lev Priima going low and under. Casey Patterson would say, under you.
We love Casey.
Most people hit you with the over, you know, and you're seeing this one in more indoor, a little bit basketball-esque, but it's always fun to get the under you. 2-2 here. Dillon going with that jump serve.
He hasn't been getting set much, so he wants to get active any way he can.
It's like, I warmed up my shoulder. I'm going to use it. That's such a good swing by Riley Owen. Not to go with the set. It kind of like went over his right shoulder. Theo had that absolutely sealed. So just find the seam right in between the two blockers
That was something we talked about. I think your guys' team has the best lockdown with Amato's strength as a middle blocker, and your size and just ability to get up quick. I feel like you guys have been locking down the middle block, that middle line attack, better than almost any team we've seen. Because that's been kind of the caveat. Do teams have their defensive guy, or do they have a third attacker out of the middle? But it seems like you guys have been able to kind of handle that versatility from lineup to lineup. No matter who you play, you have the answer.
Well, we have Nick Amato. I won't really say anything about me, but having him, I'm making sure he's like our farm animal. I'm just making sure he's taken care of, hosed down. He's over there on the table getting worked on.
The workhorse.
Yes. Seabiscuit is our favorite play.
There it is. Lev Priima steady on the block. His hands are so good.
We are switching sides. He has incredibly strong hands at the net. We've had, I feel like Casey Riley McKibben has taught me to joust, and he's one of the guys that gives me the most trouble when I'm at the net. I mean, just so physical, and he just gets on it so fast. So blocking's the same way. You're not really going to tool his hands very much. You're going to hopefully make him on the side of his arms. Right now he's proven that he has the strongest hands on this court.
Ooh, Karlenzig tries something cheeky there, maybe finds something short, but goes too short. Net's too high. Take your pick. Either way, that's going to be a point for Houston. 5-3 with a 2-point lead opening up.
Let's see if we can hear him.
Captain.
Not too sure what they're talking about here. Maybe sweaty ball. I don't know. Either way, maybe a little gamesmanship.
There's a little thing going on here, and Lev knows exactly what he's doing. Andy actually did this to us against me and Chase in an AVP. I'm not sure if he wants me saying that. Sorry, Andy. But, yeah, I think Lev's rubbing it on his stomach. And it's absolutely, you can see it from here, the ball that's on the ground, the one that's on the left right by his leg, covered in sweat, and then he's serving that ball. And
as the proud Mikasa rep, I will tell anyone, this ball, when that moisture's on that cover, it all gets a little bit harder to pass. So definitely compared to some other balls in the market, that's going to, you may not feel it as much. This one, you are certainly going to be aware of it.
Now you got to nail this set because the ball's clean. And it was a beautiful set. Just going off the arm. Again, you're not going to tool those hands. It seems going to go more on the left side or the right side of Lev's arms because he's more straight up and down as he's blocking. Theo's getting kind of over. Lev can just penetrate a little bit more. But that was a huge side out, especially after you complain about the ball. That's a big side out right there.
You got to get that one.
Yes.
Topspin from Karlenzig to Priima. It's a great pass. Short move there from Domecus, but Brunner punches that one through. It's a good swing into the double block.
I love Theo's timing into his approach. He had such good court vision across court there. I feel like he could have gone anywhere with that ball.
Let's see if he's got a nasty float serve for us. So many years on the international tour. He's spent so many reps serving this ball. Let's see what he's got.
Wow, what a save to extend
by Riley
that.
Owen. Can he get this in? Dillon Cox with the tomahawk. Lev Priima.
Oh,
Riley Owen with the spread block.
Wow.
Wow, Riley Owen, your team thanks you. You saved that play. Not once, but twice. Riley Owen. Can we get a little momentum? Can we find something here? Still would like to see a serving strategy, see if we could pick up on it as the commentators. But what's our serving strategy here? Are you going after somebody?
I think the big thing is whoever you're seeing as the attacking guy, make him work both sides of the ball. So right now, serve Priima and just make him pass and hit all day long. Get it away from Cox out of the middle. He wants to do nothing but pass.
He's approaching in the blind zone where you're saying I can see it. Then he's approaching and I can't see.
Well, you want to know what they're talking about? There's a mic telling you every single word. For the uninitiated at home, you're not allowed to screen the server. So sometimes you'll see a guy in serve receive raise his hand, and that's usually an indication of the players on the other side, but also the ref. Hey, I've got no line of sight. So right there, Priima looking for a little help from the officials.
What a pirouette pass. Touch on the block. You could hear that. No?
I thought I heard it too.
All right. Well, I guess you can't hear it, everybody.
That's why we're the ones with the microphones and not the whistles.
Yeah. And the white shirts.
Maarek with the float.
That is a nasty float. What a great pass.
Wow.
Ooh, Theo wants that one back. I mean, even from back here, I don't even know where he would have gone.
No.
I thought it was going to be straight down.
I thought the exact same.
Somehow. I understand the tempo out of the middle, but the sand can like hold on to your feet a little bit, if you will, if that makes sense. And so a high ball could get you to be able to go OT. Like you're okay with the, not that you're going to go over these two guys, but at least you can kind of hit more of the back line, whereas a more tempo, you're going to try to beat that blocker. And you're just seeing how good Houston is at closing that block. And Del Mar trying to find their rhythm, trying to take a page out of Houston's book and learning to close that block. It is a hard thing to do. So Houston showing ease with some of the difficulty. Dillon Cox.
See if he goes back to the big jump serve. Leaves that one just short, but you know, when you've got a 3-point lead like that, not a bad time. See if you extend it, maybe you get one, open it up, and not a bad decision.
With this ball, there's a few things. Casey Patterson was talking about a jump serve. Doesn't necessarily have to be crazy fast. Just generate a high spinny pass. So that could be something that he's doing there, but what a dig. Hang on. Another dig. What a play by Karlenzig. Oh my gosh, a scoop to option.
Yeah,
wow.
the paddles were very well calibrated there from Domecus in the back row. Heads up play by Karlenzig.
Unfazed in the angle. Would love to see good defensive patience.
That is an in-system pass. We're running that middle. It took us a whole set, but we're here.
I would argue that's also one of the reasons to run Riley on the middle for Del Mar. It does keep your blockers true, and so it can open up the pins a little more when they're seeing that many double blocks, because we just saw it. There was no respect from Del Mar for that middle attack.
Absolutely.
And just opened that one up halfway through
just
the second
an easy
set.
side out.
Yeah.
Lev going with a float serve. Making it dance. What a great pass.
Priima really does close because the thing that everyone kind of doesn't get, or it doesn't get talked about as much on blocking, it's so much more prevalent in beach. You're taking court. You don't always need to go get a terminal kill block. But Priima just seals so elegantly. The pin is on his left, so he just closes off 60% of the court there. Earns that point with some fundamentals that are great.
Theo way outside his body on that one. Jump set, should have hit it. Right through the hands of Theo. Lev.
Plenty of opinions, but I like that move. I like that we're seeing more of that as the option rises. I mean, Hagen was really trying to make it work against you guys. Got a couple, swung on a couple. And that's what's interesting. It turns 4 players into attackers at times. If your setter
that's what
starts
I was
doing
kind of thinking. I was watching some of these setters jump set, and you really could. I mean, like a Team Sweden-esque, if you watch the FIVB Tour, just if they were playing 4s, that setter is an attacker, and if you could pull somebody up, then you're really generating almost a no block or a one block.
Right. And I'm bummed they got knocked out early. I think it was St. Pete was running, basically it looked like they were in rotation 1 for indoor. So they had their setter coming from right back zone 1. So they had 3 passers. What that allowed him to do is any tight ball, he had an option to swing onto every time. It was a little hit and miss because now he's setting facing the net, which is a very difficult set. But man, did they get some Instagram highlight reels with that offense.
I'm here for it. ESPN top 10 or nothing, you know?
Yes.
Well, it's either going to be a crazy hit, and that goes on ESPN, or it's going to be a crazy block, and that goes on ESPN. What a great cover by Dillon, Maarek. Theo, out of system.
Brunner tagging the back line. Maarek doing a little, you said it earlier, I love the word, the pirouette there, doing a full 360, finds it, keeps it alive.
The pirouette pass going into the technical. 12-9, Houston is up. If you're Michael or I, you're real confident about our score predictions. But what advice would you give Del Mar here? 9-12. We're down.
I think the thing that we've seen is so many teams, it's almost surprisingly, everyone kind of has had their offensive pony, and it may not be the whole tournament, but in any given set, someone gets hot. And right now, I think there's a little bit of that, kind of like the Spider-Man meme. Everyone's like pointing at each other, like who's going to do it. Gabe Domecus started hot. Owen's been pretty good, missed a couple wide. Riley's swinging well out of the middle, but I feel like we're kind of missing that authoritative answer, and it comes on the back of some weaker passing. So whatever you need to do, maybe you need to switch 2 guys. If Domecus is passing better, maybe put him in the middle. Get Riley on the pin. They've done it already. They've seen some success, but I think that might kind of give them a change up. And after you've already played 60 points of volleyball to this point, change when you're going as a server. Now everyone has to think a different rep. Who am I going after this time? Let Domecus take some seams. Let him swing big on the pins.
I mean, I would take that advice. Again, once you're kind of out there, too, one of the best advice that I heard, and I'm not sure if he even knows it, was just getting to hear Rich Lamborn talk to his players when it was Jake Gibb and Taylor Crabb at the time. And it was just such a simple question of, hey, how does it feel out there? Before he would ever offer any sort of coaching, like, what's it like out there? Like, you're out in between the lines. What do you see and feel? Obviously, me watching, I have something for you, but it could be completely different from what they feel out there. So sometimes as players, we get into a rut where we just don't see the simplistic answer, and so having an extra eye as a coach could be something nice. So Tal Shavit, I believe that's how you say his name. He's a great player. He's a great doubles player. He's had a long career. And so hopefully he's able to offer some advice to these players. High
Good
touch on that
dig.
closed block. Theo with a one-on-one block.
And that's the thing right now. It feels a little bit like Houston. They understand how to play the force format in the out-of-system play. They're getting double blocks up almost every time. Del Mar feels like they're going one-on-one blockers. And you're not going to stop Brunner statistically. You're not going to stop Priima statistically. It's not something in your favor, but the double block is slowing down so much more. And we talk about it right there. That's a hard swing for Gabe Domecus to make. I thought he got a touch. They are calling it here.
We didn't have a touch this time. But if he did, it doesn't matter. We didn't have a touch.
I'm really curious on John's answer. We didn't have a touch on this side. Wouldn't you want to bring in that lines person? What did they see? It does sound like a touch every time.
Yeah. I'm waiting. Is there a comment?
We love when ball doesn't lie.
Yeah,
call.
did you call a touch on that one?
Yeah,
we've all done it. Don't do it at home, all right? Don't do that.
Be better.
Be better. I've done it.
We all knew right away. All three of us were guilty of that thought.
Just comes in your brain.
Yeah.
Suppress those. It's not worth it. Don't be the twerp. We've all been the twerp. Time to grow up.
The gimme pass and the easy kill. Karlenzig went from line block last time, switches that one more to angle. Theo does it like he's done a million times before, just easy line over and easy point.
That's the one thing with the one-on-one block that you have to do. Like Nick and I are one blocking everybody. We're solo blocking everybody. So you just got to take some chances. You know, okay, is he going to hit angle? Is he going to hit line? Be okay with it once. And then that kind of stuff happens. It's tough when you're down by a few points because you're like, oh, of course, the one time I decided to take angle, he hits line. So that lead does feel like it's a little bit out of reach. And so you kind of want to just stay, all right, let's just keep hitting the hammer. Let's see what happens, see what we can do.
I'd like to check back in. Feeling a little more concerned right now on my prediction. That's a good point for Karlenzig.
You got to ride or die with your pick, all right? There's no giving up yet.
Hey, no. I'm just, there's a little flutter.
Yeah.
It's a healthy emotion.
11-16.
Ultimately, what it comes down to is we're basically trading side outs now, but there's been a 5-point buffer created that hasn't been able to be attacked at all from Del Mar.
I don't think that's the serve that's going to do it. Could it be a block?
Yeah, the one-on-ones. Priima and Brunner are winning that battle on both sides of the pin.
Yeah, I mean, I think Del Mar here, it's really hard for Priima to, at the velocity that he's swinging, to hit that line, I think.
Yeah.
So getting Riley to just be a little bit more inside lineup, get away from the swing block, go more to a beach block. Again, that versatility that we were talking about of playing on different surfaces. Get Riley to be more of a beach blocker, force him to swing down that line because, as you can see, it's hard enough to dig anyway.
Back set to Domecus. Dug by Maarek, plenty of time. Wow, aggressive.
No way.
Priima betters the ball very well. Karlenzig into the double block. Goes high over, but just can't find it.
Houston is taking control. Now we're going to go back to our predictions. What did you have on this second set?
18-18, but I'm sticking to my guns here. Okay,
wow.
We can side out and push.
Oh, so now you're jumping ship and you're going to Del Mar.
Let's go. No,
Well, he's trying to ride that pony for 7 points.
I had 21-16.
You're
Houston.
looking like you know this a little bit better than we do at the moment,
Truly.
Troy.
What a serve. Again, high spinny pass. Dillon all over it. What a beautiful handset. Can he go?
That's the thing. We talk about disciplined blocking. Teams have struggled to get both blockers to the middle of the court effectively so they can almost get attacked straight ahead, leaving middle back as this very vulnerable spot. Brunner and Priima are closing that so well. You're seeing both Dillons collapse to pins knowing that roll shots are coming, and they can just sit on it.
Yeah. They are playing free, and it's fun to watch. Watching volleyball players just play free, especially very talented ones, is a true spectacle.
19-11, that late game run from set 1 really proven to be a bit of an emotional lance in the balloon for Del Mar there. Karlenzig not done just yet, though. I do want to take a quick moment to shout out our sponsors. This one's accelerating towards the end. A huge thank you to Waste Connections, Liberty Materials, Mikasa Volleyball, Jump Serve, Volleyball USA, and Sanderac. Thank you so much for supporting City versus City and everything going on here in Texas this weekend.
Yes, thank you so much.
Also, shout out to Troy. Thanks for hopping on with us, man.
Oh, this is so fun.
Sharing the knowledge with all the people. That's what I think.
Thank you to my teammates that are hanging around so I can
So
do
you can
this.
do it.
Yeah, I gave them enough time to all get on the table. Hopefully touch up the bodies, get ready for the semifinals. But thank you so much for having me. Thank you, everybody. Dealing with my conversations, my nonsense at times. Hey, Frank Field coming into the game.
Field, there he is.
I think it's a little, like they should have brought him in a while ago, but happy they're getting him in the game.
Now you're going to blow out his shoulder.
I hope he gets his stuff right here.
Back set. And that
Out
one
of
goes
boundaries.
long.
21-12. Houston taking over against Del Mar. Wow.
Yeah, that was a big authoritative win for this Houston North. We've been calling them the Houston transplants, none of them from the actual Houston area. Yesterday there was some big Houston Central versus Houston North back and forth, so that was a lot of fun. But that's going to do it. They're going to punch their ticket to the semifinals. We're going to be dropping this net down. We've got 2 more women's quarterfinals today. Then we're going to have the icing on the cake, 2 last men's quarterfinals. That means 4 more best of 3s today. And then we're getting into all the big action tomorrow. It is a single loss elimination tournament, so put up or shut up. This is it.
Yeah, it is. It is win or go home. Thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you,
Yeah,
everybody
absolutely.
watching. Again, support beach volleyball, support this channel. Anything you can do helps a ton. Yeah, follow these players. See any players you like. Make sure to follow them on social media. Do anything you can. Try to do anything to support volleyball. Get away from the useless keyboard chatter. Let's try to build this sport up, and I think we're going in the right direction. So,
absolutely. I'm Nick England, Troy Field, Michael Klinsman on behalf of City versus City. We'll see you back here in just a little bit of time. Thanks so much.